Pixel.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Grunting Pixel Podcast. We are down one person today and probably also next week. Alex is
dead.
He started work, he's dead. He started work dead. And he's training while dead for the next 2 weeks. So he's got a very full schedule there, and then he'll find out when his actual work days are, and then we might be able to incorporate him back in here, hopefully, in some sort of fashion. So right now, it's just me, Jared, and Steph. I'm me, the Grunting Pixel. Next would be Jared.
Hello.
And Steph.
Hello.
Hello. And we're going to do a little bit of a different format for this podcast. It was kind of the format that I had originally planned on, but due to circumstances, I'm not going to go into it all. It ended up just being me picking all the podcast topics, but I kind of want everybody to bring their own. That way it's not just like, all right, we just sit in and listen to fucking GP tell us topics to discuss. I wanted everybody to feel engaged in it. So we're doing that again, and we're going to start with Miss Steph's topic.
Yeah.
Go.
Alright. Hey, y'all like movies, right?
What's a movie?
It's the thing that moves.
Oh, so children when I try to, drive through the school.
Well, more or less, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Alright, so, your favorite movies are probably not recent, right? Because of the whole nostalgia thing, right?
Yeah, it's been a long time since I actually hit a kid, and he was my favorite movie.
Okay.
Because he didn't get out of the way fast enough.
I don't even know how to segue into the question. Do you think movies have been increasing in quality over the past 10 years? And no, not children. GP.
Movies and TV, or just movies?
Just movies. Just movies. Because I think TVs are like a different kind of medium.
But I mean, somebody might have... I personally think that TV shows are just shorter movies. Or longer movies if you break them up into, a whole season.
Yeah, I want to say TV shows are more like longer movies, because, each episode would be an hour, and you already got a season, you can probably tell more story than you can.
Well, not always that. There are some, cartoons typically do this, sitcoms are also really notorious for this, where they all just exist in a universe, but each 30-minute block, or 22, whatever minute block, is its own little story. So they can either be short movies, or they can be long movies. You got, like Seinfeld, which is basically, here's these characters, and, there's sometimes running things that happen, but most of the time it's here's a 22-minute story, tiny movie. Or you have Lost, which is here's an hour movie, come back next week for another hour movie, come back next week for another hour movie. It's... So, I don't know. It's your topic. Actually, I was just going for clarification.
The thing is that, like you said, because there is, a whole thing where TV shows can be anything from, just situational, episodic things to, overarching story. I think movies are pretty much the same in terms of structure. I mean, you've got the artsy ones that are a little different, and of course you've got the saga ones like Lord of the Rings, which have been planned out, to be a trilogy. But I think movies are pretty consistent of, what they are.
Yeah, but I mean, you could say, with that type of mentality, you could be well, then episodic games shouldn't be considered games.
I suppose so. I don't know. I was trying to keep the question simple, but it seems
it's different for movies and TV shows, so they have to, for me, they have to be different, because I can't. Mm-hmm. They're different, so.
Okay, well then we could go on to we can make that another topic later or whatever. I was just asking for clarification. Doesn't matter to me.
I can comment on both. I'm just saying that.
Well, the reason that I consider doing both is because I have very little input on TV, but I could say something about it. So it doesn't matter to me. Steph's the boss of the applesauce, so fucking make a choice.
Yo.
Make your choice.
It's movies.
Okay, movies.
Movies.
Well, then I'm not interested. Next topic.
Okay.
Well, Steph, seeing it's your topic, do you want to lead, or would you rather get our opinion first? I keep saying that we need to make a format for this shit, and I still have yet to do so.
What's the format?
You guys start.
Yeah, when I do my topics, and when I've been doing my topics, I've always kind of been the last person to say, for me, so I don't influence other people's.
So you can complain about everybody else's thoughts and say they're all wrong. And then express yours.
Jared, that's a trade secret. You're fired.
Sorry.
We've spent so much time on the discussion of the question instead of actually answering
I know, it's
the
been
question.
way too long. Okay, Jared, you start because you're beautiful.
All right, so I find myself lately saying more and more, especially in the past, I guess, 10 years.
What's especially?
I think Hollywood is running out of ideas, and I say it more. I'm saying it more and more as I'm watching these previews and commercials and stuff. So I think that movie quality is lowering very bad, and even the movies that look like they're going to be epic and spend millions upon millions of dollars turn out to be shite. For instance, the new Fantastic Four movie. $150 million movie, and it's doing shit. And they even got a black guy in there, so I don't understand why it's not doing good. Because I thought that would make it do a lot better.
Well, I haven't seen the new Fantastic Four movie, and I don't know who's in it. But if they wanted the last Fantastic Four movies, the last two, to be successful, they just had to make Jessica Alba naked, and that would have been the most fucking grossing movie since Titanic.
Okay, Billy, let's go watch our Fantastic Four movie. I'm so excited about this movie. Oh my gosh, it's boobs!
I no. For me, I'd be like, oh my god, somebody stop the film. Stop it!
What about the children?
I need to savor this.
The children? Somebody please think about the children?
But please continue. I'm sorry. Derail the podcast.
Well, I mean, there's just so many. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, unfortunately. But there's just so many stupid, random movies. Like another example was that Pixels movie. It was just some random stupid idea, and Adam Sandler's unable to mature.
I was going to say, to be fair, what was the last good Adam Sandler movie? Like
exactly. Well, they're all the same movie. Same actors, same concept, just different theme. Just like so many of these movies that are just like okay, well, you guys got any ideas? I don't know, what if this cookie was like depressed because all the other cookies in the cookie jar were eaten but him, and he's just surrounded by crumbs and he's sad. Genius! Let's do it!
Somebody sell that.
$150 million budget.
Sell that to Pixar because they could make that movie.
Yeah. So, and that's kind of how I feel sometimes, it's just like, oh my gosh, Hollywood, what are you thinking? So, that's my input.
I think the problem with Hollywood is a problem that a lot of things have, be it comics, be it books, be it TV, be it movie, these games, anything, is that anything big enough is going to be 80%, no, I'm going to lower that, 60% worthless trash, 20% passable, 20% actually really, or 10% actually really good, and then like another 10% that's just like, this is one of the greatest movies of all time.
Actually a law or a theory, I forget the name, but the concept is that 90% of anything is utter trash, and the remaining 10% is actually good quality, regardless of what art medium are we talking about.
Right.
And I think that holds true, because if you look at anything, like books, like I could like walk into a bookstore and immediately see like a bunch of books and just think of like, the concept of this is probably garbage or rehash or whatever, and then you've got like the few gems that are just like, this is mind-blowing,
Do bookstores still exist?
They do.
Occasionally.
It's called Amazon.com.
Oh. Huh.
I'm pretty sure there's a mom and pop shop down like 30 minutes from where I live in the back of a dumpster that's selling books.
Oh, jeez. There's a Barnes & Noble like across the street where I live. There used to be a Borders too, but they kind of just left.
It's actually kind of crazy. This is totally off topic, but there was a Borders in a town nearby me that was huge. I'm literally not kidding you. It had 2 stories.
Yeah, that's the same thing with mine. Yeah.
I'm like, this is crazy. And then I went to school in Florida, and I came back, and now it's like a restaurant. I guess it's gone now.
10 years it'll be a Walmart. They'll all be Walmarts in 10 years.
It'll all just be genericstore.gov.
I think Steph was making a point and I interrupted her. What was your point you were trying to make? See if you can remember.
A lot of it is just garbage, and there's some things that are good. Because, even with movies, which, I'll let GP go first, but it's kind of what I want to segue into, where, like, while there is a lot of garbage, for movies nowadays, I think that 10% has been getting better as the movie industry kind of understands the formula a little bit more, on how to make movies. And since, with technology and the new tools that we have, while it's easier to make garbage now, it's also easier to have the smaller guys.
Yeah, that's like a whole separate topic for me.
Well, yeah, this
Like
this could go into a million different directions. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep it concise.
But-
I do.
I'm biting my tongue here.
I do agree that here's what I'll say. When movies first started, they were all pretty poopy crap. And then I would say that movies, I'm hesitant to use the word a renaissance, but they kind of had something similar to that with movies, in my opinion, like during the 80s and 90s, where like a lot of just like really fucking cool movies were coming out. Like there is a lot of good movies from that time period. And then like the late 90s through like the early to mid 2000s was kind of been like, guess what? We figured out how to make a computer make a picture, so we're gonna put pictures of computer pictures all inside of movies. And then that's all they were, and there was kind of like, where's the plot?
They do that because
where's the character?
Yeah. They don't have to pay an actor, $13 million. They can pay some fat guy in a chair to do it for $50 grand a year. That's his job. And,
I resemble that remark, and that pisses me off that you
Wait,
said that.
you resemble that remark?
Yeah, get it? Not resent, I resemble it. It's jokes. It's fucking comedy.
It was
comedy.
funny. It was
But I think that we kind of had that point where like there were still good movies, but like just a lot more shit was coming out. Like we had a really big point where movies were awesome, and then everybody wanted to make movies, but people were like, I don't know how to make a movie. Let's get my like Super 8 out and see what happens. And like,
oh, gross.
A lot of fucking movies just started becoming shitty, where it was like people were like, oh well, CG is the new way to go, so we're gonna throw all our budget into that, and who needs a writer? And then like a lot of these shitty movies came out, and I feel like now we're kind of at the point where like movies in general are better than ever, even though they're not, like, they barely have an original bone in their body. Like, I'm sorry, but superhero movies are some of like the most popular things now, and I haven't seen a bad superhero movie in the past 6 years, and I think that says something, because there was some shitty fucking superhero movies for a while.
Yeah.
Like some really bad ones. But there's also a lot of these other movies that come out and be like, this is trope number 645 mixed with trope 403. This is 900 tropes put into one movie. And there's a lot of shitty movies, but I also think that there are some really good fucking gems that have been coming out like in recent cinema. I know for a fact there's a lot of problems with this movie, and I don't by any means want people to think that I think this is a 10 out of 10. But a movie that totally fucking blew me away recently was The Grey. That movie was fucking awesome.
I really liked that movie.
It was really well paced. Characters were kind of shitty but interesting. The writing was good. It was intense as balls. The ending left a little bit to be desired.
I mean, just so we're clear, you're talking about 50 Shades of Grey, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But and then like there's other ones like I mean pretty much any Nolan movie in the past X years has been really fucking
I like the
good.
new Jurassic World. It's an example of where CGI can be used for a good thing and really utilize. And this is my opinion, of course. But I mean, there's like one part at the end I thought was kind of lame. But besides that, the movie was phenomenal.
I haven't seen it, and I've heard
opinion.
mixed reviews, so I don't know.
Okay.
I've heard mostly positive things.
I've heard a lot of positive, but I've also heard a lot of negative.
I've heard a lot of positive because it's my own opinion because I saw the movie.
Because I shout it in an echo chamber so I can hear myself.
I just continuously shout positive review when I watch the movie. Positive
This is the best movie ever.
5 stars.
But yeah, and then like, you know, obviously Ex Machina was a really good movie recently. Like I've seen a lot of good movies, so I don't know if like I've gotten a lot more picky with films lately, where I'm really kind of looking for like the cream of the crop. So maybe that has influenced my opinion that they're getting better. But some of the best movies that I saw in the 90s and early 2000s, and some of the best movies that I've seen now, in terms of quality, they're getting better. Like, actors are getting better, and filming is getting better, and video is getting better, and CG implementation is getting better, and it seems to be taking the best of then and just making it better, in my opinion. But that's, like I said,
Here's a good example
I agree with
10
that.
years. Okay, so I don't know if you're a fan of the Lord of the Rings movies, but the first 3 epic movies, Peter Jackson uses the same formula for a movie that shouldn't have that formula because it's not an action-based movie, but uses the exact same formula, releases the movie, well, it's more than 10 years, but and the movie doesn't even hold close to Lord of the Rings, in my opinion. And that's an example of 10 years of where, you're like, well, we've got all these special effects and we know it works, so why not use it? And, you can't continuously use the same formula. Pirates of the Caribbean is another good example of, it was really good the first time, but you can't just keep using the same formula and expecting, to be making millions upon millions of dollars. You've got to be a little bit creative with your ideas and what you do, or at least follow the book somewhat instead of making it into this epic thing, And so that's, it just depends on where you're looking, Some things I think have improved. Sometimes it's just the director, or the producer or whatever. They've deteriorated over years, and the quality of their films have deteriorated, not necessarily the film industry. So, I don't know. It's kind of a hard question for me to answer.
The reason that it's hard is because there's a million different aspects that affect it, and then we could go on a rant about all those aspects.
Yeah.
So
By the way,
trying to stay concise is hard.
New Mission Impossible movie, 2 thumbs up. Awesome. Loved it.
Yeah, I think it's because the quantity of movies have increased so much within the past couple of decades. We're just seeing more garbage. Yeah. And I if the amount of movies that were being released were like the same amount as it was like in the 90s, 80s, I think we would be more inclined to say that the quality has been getting better. But yeah, I don't know. It's, like you guys are saying, like it's a lot of factors to think about because the movie industry is huge. It is huge. Like you think of the game industry and it's pretty big, but it's only been around, for so long. But the movie industry, it's just grown into this giant beast that's got like different systems in it.
At least 5 or 6 years.
Yeah. At least. But, and the thing is that I play more games than I do watch movies. And the movies I watch, I really only really watch if I hear a lot of good things about it. 'Cause before, I used to watch whatever, came out recently. It's like, oh, this movie looks interesting. I'll check it out. But nowadays, I guess just because I don't have the time or money to just sit in the theater, I really only watch movies if people are saying it's worth my time. And which reduces the amount of movies to a very, very small sample. So it's easy, I guess, for me to say that movies have been getting better only because I've been watching the movies that have been rated at least like a 7 out of 10 at the very least,
Right. Well, I have 2 final things to say, and then I'll be done with this topic.
Okay.
I want to let everybody listening, including Jared, because I think he kind of has that opinion about him, and I understand that. I don't think that I'm shitting on CG. I actually think CG is amazing. There's a video, I'm going to say it here, but I'm also going to put it in the description. It was from Freddie W., the guy who made Rocket Jump, and he has a channel called Rocket Jump Film School, which is basically just like little behind-the-scenes learning about film industry thing. And he did a video on special effects that I think every single fucking person who watches TV or movies needs to see, where a lot of people think that, computer-generated imagery is ruining movies. But what he says, and what I understand because I'm in this industry, is that you only ever notice bad CG, which means that you will think you hate CG, even though 90% of what you look at screen is fucking altered in some way.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to put that there. And the other thing is, and this is a weird opinion, but I think that we need to have shitty everything. We need to have shitty movies. We need to have shitty art. We need to have shitty games. We need to have shitty comics, shitty books, shitty everything. Because if you're only ever watching or seeing, or the only thing that ever is being produced is top quality, then we're going to become jaded so fucking fast it's not even funny. So having the shittiest of movies come out and you watch it and be like, I cannot believe I watched that fucking film.
So that brings up a good point.
It makes the better ones seem that much better.
Yeah. We need to start releasing some shitty podcasts because our podcasts are so great.
I was thinking about that.
People are going to start thinking, we need to just...
Well, what I was hoping, Jared, is that other people would produce the shitty versions. That way ours always looks better.
There we go.
See?
I mean, it's literally impossible for us to produce shit. I mean,
I
it's
think
just-
if I
it's not their
tried,
nature.
I think if I tried, I might be able to do it. But I understand what you mean.
Hopefully, everybody's getting the sarcasm I'm putting down. Because
What's sarcasm?
What? You're sarcastic? Whoa, you're being sarcastic?
In my opinion, I think that we're just releasing nothing but shit, because then we're gonna get that really good one, and then they're gonna really appreciate it. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think that either.
What's sarcasm? No, I agree.
I don't know. It's just a word I like to say.
Yay! Words.
Woohoo!
Jared, your topic, please.
Oh yeah. My topic is. Sorry.
Hold on, let me check my notes.
I just had a brain fart and zoned out for a second there. I don't know. That was weird. Anyways, okay, so what do you think about season passes for games? Now, I'm sure anybody who listens to this who's a gamer knows that pretty much with any game or any like big game that comes out, they offer you another option to pay an additional $40 for additional content.
Well,
and the reason why-
it's usually 20 or 30.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I'm
Batman
I'm
did
thinking of
40.
the particular example that made me think of this topic. So there's a particular game that just when I saw it,
In half?
aggravated me, and that's why I wanted to add it to the topics, because I wanted to see what everybody else thought. And that's I just recently bought Arkham Knights, and phenomenal game. I love it. I think it's a contender for Game of the Year. But when I'm looking at the DLC and the extras and stuff, I see all these cool little things. Like there's this thing where you can play as Catwoman, or not Catwoman, but Batgirl, and it costs this much. There's this suit that costs this much. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, geez. And then there's like season pass $40, and you get it all for free. And I'm like, why in the hell would I pay almost as much, $20 less than I paid for this fucking game, for fucking costumes and shit, and maybe a 5-hour game? It's like, it doesn't kind of add up to me, and it seems kind of stupid. And so people who don't want all those additional costumes, but maybe just the Batgirl thing, is actually paying more for the Batgirl thing because they're buying it individually. And that bothers me because I don't really get into the whole costume thing. I don't care what Batman looks like when I'm swinging around. I mean, the suit they give you by default is good enough for me. I'm kind of ranting here because I'm still a little frustrated about it. But I don't know. I was just curious to think, and the same thing with like the Call of Duties and everything. They do that as well. And I was just curious to think what input you guys would have on that and what you thought.
Steph, did you have something you wanted to say? Because I have a big answer. So if you want to chime in, go for it.
It depends on the content. There are companies who do season passes right, and there are companies who do season passes wrong. I think season passes are excellent for episodic games, such as Walking Dead, or any Telltale game, really. Especially since their content is more consistent.
Well, real quick,
in
is
terms
the season pass like all 5 of the games at once? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like
just
all
the
the-
content for the game.
They're all paid for, so you don't get them at once, but you don't have to pay the next
Oh yeah,
episode.
that I agree with that.
Yeah, that's fine. And since the price is consistent, usually each episode's $5. When you do purchase the season pass, it's like, all right, it's a discount. Very similar to buying a season pass for a TV show. But there are other companies that do DLC and season passes wrong. Arkham Knight's a really good example, where it's a lot of cosmetic things instead of just, pure content. Gears of War Judgment is one that I have a little bit of a problem with, particularly since their DLC, like custom skins and stuff like that, $5 a piece, and you only get like maybe a handful in the season pass. Season pass though is not that bad. It's
You don't even
$20,
get any
but-
skins
Hold
from the
on.
season
Did
pass.
you just say $5 for a skin?
For a
Jared,
skin.
Jared,
There's still
Judgment,
that. Go ahead.
Judgment is doing pay to play, like pay for the game $60 with free to play
Prices.
style microtransactions, and like that. Oh, it pisses me off.
Mhm.
Oh, I threw up a little.
Judgment could be a whole other thing in and of itself.
Yeah. And
Alright,
the
so
season
go ahead,
pass
that was-
itself isn't bad. It's $20. However, it's really only a few DLC maps. Pretty much you pay $20 extra to get the amount of maps to pretty much make your multiplayer map total almost the same as Gears 3 vanilla. So it's you're essentially paying what, $80 for not as much content as you would with Gears 3 if you paid $60. So it was a bit of a flop in terms of, Judgment has a lot of problems, but that's in terms of season passes, that's a huge problem. In comparison to Gears 3 season pass, where you got a decent amount of stuff, you got plenty of maps, you got a nice chunk of DLC campaign missions, which actually last for a couple of hours. And in comparison between 3 and Judgment, it's a good example of, they're both season passes. They both do DLC, but one does it better than the other. So it really is. It's more of like, kind of like the old days where you bought the base game, and then when you buy an expansion, you're paying for a good chunk of content, almost as if you're paying for part of the game itself. But I think nowadays a lot of companies are just, I guess, confused as to what they think is a good amount of quantity and quality in terms of their content. And instead of actually shipping something that would, be worth $20 of a game, they're kind of shipping something that should be instead charged $10, maybe arguably $5 for some of them. But season passes in theory are fantastic ideas, but a lot of companies just don't get it in terms of what they should charge.
Steph was hinting at it pretty well of what I'm going to say. And what I'm going to say is I have no problems at all with season passes at all. I don't care. I think they're actually a great method of giving content at discounted. My problem isn't with the season pass. My problem is with the price of season passes versus the content. I think that's what everybody gets hung up on, which makes sense. It's the same kind of people that say, like, well, we need to get rid of guns. It's like, no, we need to get rid of people that are bad with using guns. You're blaming the gun, but the gun isn't the problem. You're blaming the season pass, but the season pass isn't the problem. It's the people who are putting in the content and justifying a price. We've gone here and we could list 1,000 season passes that do it wrong. And Batman's a really good example of that. You get that Batgirl thing, which is cool, and people were really excited about that. But from what I understand, that Batgirl thing is really expensive, and you get like an hour out of it. Maybe. And that is what I consider terrible value. The problem with season passes is that they're always usually a terrible value, where it's like, hey, buy this game. It's called, I'm gonna make a game up. It's Fallout, the Elder Fallouts. You buy this game and it comes with 500 hours of content. But also, don't forget to buy our DLC for $40. You'll get 6 new weapons and a skin, and your dog will speak French. It's like, that's not fucking worth it. You're giving me something way, way more expensive than what you already gave me at a significantly cheaper price. And that's the problem with season passes, is they price gauge. That's the problem with DLC in general, is that they price gauge you so fucking hard. There's one company, or at least I'm gonna say game, that does DLC, in my opinion, right. And that is Borderlands. Yeah. Borderlands DLC is crazy packed with content for very little. Like, they have the season pass, but then they do these, like, little, like, you would call them, like, micro DLCs, where it's like, this is Gage's bloppity bloop blop. It's $4 for another 4 hours of play. I'm like, that's a value. I can deal with that. That's cool. You're giving me new guns. You're giving me 4 hours of gameplay. You're giving me new skins and a new story for $4 fucking dollars. If that was anybody else, that'd be $20 DLC. Mm-hmm. You want a new skin? $5 fucking dollars. No, fuck you. You can get a brand new fucking head or more for 99 cents on Borderlands 2. Like, that's what it needs to be. It's the season pass isn't the problem. It's how much they fucking charge you for the shit. I'm looking at you, Evolve. Go fuck yourself.
I don't know. Like if I paid $60 for a game, I don't want to pay more money for additional stuff. Like, I feel like that should come just like with an update to the game. Like, it should come with it. If you need more money to do these extra content, then your game should be cost more, or maybe you buy the bonus edition or something. I don't know, but like the thing is that
I don't necessarily.
It bothers me. See, the thing is, like with Witcher 3, when I bought it, it said, "Hey, you're gonna get all this DLC for free," and like they had all this fucking DLC that they're releasing, and it's all free. It's it's like, hey, thank you for being our fan and buying our game. Here's how much we care about you. Take this stuff, not here. Pay us $20 and we'll give you content for your game, and you may or may not like it. No refunds.
Here's the problem: you're talking about a developer who's self-publishing and cares about their fans versus corporations, which is everybody else. So I agree. I remember back when Halo 2, they were giving out free maps, and then they wanted to give out free maps with Halo 3, but Microsoft said no. I wish that people would support their shit with more free things. Unfortunately, almost everybody is under some sort of publisher, and that publisher controls everything you fucking do. Controls the content you make, controls how much you make, it controls what you make, it controls everything, and they control the pricing. So as much as I love CD Projekt Red, and I think they're fucking phenomenal for doing what they do, unfortunately, they're the only people that can do that. The people who work under EA, under Microsoft, under Ubisoft, under Nintendo, under PlayStation, whoever these are, they can't do that even if they want to, because the fucking main overlords tell them they can't, because they need money.
Yeah, well, I know we're talking about nickels and dime in most cases here, but like, how come if I'm playing a game and I just want, the extra storyline or whatever, the extra story. Borderlands is a great example. That their DLC was phenomenal, and if I just want those, but I don't want the skins, but I have to pay more for that thing because I don't have the season pass and I'm not getting discounted on everything. To me, it's like, well, I don't want those other things. But I don't want to pay more for this thing. I know it's.
But you could
it's
say that about
here, dollars there. But
you could say that more about bulk, like Costco. It's like, well, I don't want that many granola bars. Why should I have to pay more?
Well, then you just don't go to Costco. But I like this game, and I want to be able to pay as much as anybody else.
Well, some people might like Costco, and they want to be able to pay.
The thing is, Jared, that's the kind of thing that's just overall business. Like when you buy in bulk, it's cheaper. That's just how to drive sales for buying.
Well, I understand that. I mean, I know it's basic marketing. I understand that. But I don't want to pay $10 for something that they're only charging $5 to somebody who buys it in bulk. And I'm like, I understand.
But they're not charging $5. They're charging $40.
Well, they're charging $40, but they're essentially getting more things.
But they still have to pay way more in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they do that. Because they're getting that person to be able to pay.
I understand the concept and why they do it. I'm just saying that it bothers me because me as a gamer, I just want to play the game and have everything given to me for free that I want and not have to worry about it. I don't want to have to pay more money.
I want to be entitled, and I want everybody to bend and make the game for me. Halo 5 is not allowed to be a first-person shooter anymore. I actually want it to be a third-person dungeon crawler.
What's next? They start charging you for upgrades to the glitches in their games? I mean, you got to pay $2 if you want this glitch fixed.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's where we end up, but I fucking hope not.
I think Dark Souls already does that. I think Scholar of the First Sin contains bug fixes.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, is Scholar of the First Sin is basically them saying, we released this game, and it just didn't work. And so instead of fixing it, we're going to release it again, but it's actually going to work. And people fucking buy it because people don't know how to educate themselves. And the problem is, Jared, is you can sit here and you can be pissed off, and you should be. You definitely should be. And you could say, fuck you, Sony, fuck you, Ubisoft, fuck you, that person. But at the end of the day, the people you should be telling to fuck you is the fucking consumers that buy the shit that let them get away from it. Call of Duty and all the people that bought Call of Duty are almost solely responsible for how
that was another
ludicrously overpriced DLC is now. And that's because EA or Activision, where the fuck it is Activision, Activision said, hey, $15 for 4 maps, plus a 5th one that's a remake. And then everybody's like, that's kind of a lot. And then they sold like 1,000 copies of that DLC. Yeah. So they're like, well, let's do it again. Yeah. Let's do it again. And then EA looked at that and said...
It's because I can't play with a lot of people because, like, if I wanted to play with my friend and he's got the DLC and he's doing a search for games and he's got that DLC, then I don't qualify for his searches because I don't have all the fucking DLC, and that pisses me off. Yeah, it's like, I bought the game, I should be able to play with my
Well, there's that, but like EA looked at that and they said, okay, we can charge that much for this, and then Ubisoft did, and everybody looked at it, and it's basically all that this DLC has been is how much more can we charge and people will still buy it. And the problem is that they're doing that, but the bigger problem is that the fucking consumers are letting them do that. There are people who buy, sorry, the Dark Arkham Knight Season Pass, from what I've seen and what I've heard, ludicrously overpriced. Crazy overpriced. It's sold like crazy. People buy it. And so they're going to look at that at the end of the day, and they're going to look at that and they go, okay, so we sold about a third less DLC than last time, but we made 4 times as much money. So who cares about that third that we lost? Because we made 4 times as much fucking money! And that's all that it takes. That's all it takes. As soon as fucking consumers would fucking be aware and learn and educate themselves enough to stop buying this shit, then we would be in a better place. But the problem is that's never gonna fucking happen, because there are people who will get outraged. A huge example of this is there was a Call of Duty game that didn't come out with dedicated servers, and there was a forum post petition of thousands of names who were like, fuck you, you give me what I want, I will not buy your game. And then they looked day one, and 50% of that list was playing the fucking game. People get outraged, but they don't fucking get outraged enough, or they don't care enough. They need their Call of Duty, they need their Batman, they need their this, and they're gonna get pissed, but they're still gonna fucking shout the money, which means they're gonna get fucked in the ass the next time, and they don't even use lube!
Gogurt.
Okay, this starts to wow me up, so...
Here's the thing, it's like, you want to know why I got Arkham Knight on my PlayStation 4, not my Xbox One? Because I got additional free content with the game that they didn't offer on the Xbox, and I'm like,
I thought you were going to say because you turned on your Xbox, but it took 6 minutes to boot up, so you just decided to turn on your PlayStation 4 and buy and download it before the Xbox One dashboard even fucking worked.
I literally, I asked the guy, I was like, well, which one's better? And he was like, well, you get, like, blah-de-blah money's worth of free content if you go with PlayStation 4s. And I'm like, sold. I'm like, that shit should be free anyways.
Right.
Again, I'm ranting, about something that just pisses me off because I don't friggin' like dumping money
it should piss you off. It's bullshit. They rip people off. But if I understand why they do it. I just don't like that they do it. That's the thing, though, is at the end of the day, and this is, I got mad there, but I hope that people who are listening to this kind of think a little bit more. I know what it's like to want a game so fucking bad. Like, be like, this game, you were the chosen one. You were the chosen one! And then that game, fuck you. And you have to have that you have to have that wherewithal to go, okay, I'm not gonna buy this game. And that sucks, because you want that game. But the problem is as soon as you go, those problems are inexcusable, but I'm buying it anyway, you've fucked yourself, and you have set the precedent and the example that they can do this and they can get away with it. So if you see DLC that's way too much money, don't buy it. Suggest to your friends that they don't buy it. If they think it's worth it, then, obviously you don't tell your friends how to live their fucking lives. But educate people. Get people knowing and have a backbone. It's hard. There was a game that came out recently, and I've literally repressed it in my brain so much that I can't even remember its fucking name, that I wanted so bad. But everything they were doing, all the practices with that game, I'm like, I can't support this. I can't support it. And I didn't buy that game. And it sucked. I was so fucking mad about that. Yeah, but I have to do that because there needs to be, the consumers need to be in control. The way that this world has developed now with Apple and iPods and everything is they control you because you let them control you. We're not back in the world where the customer was right and the customer gets, the good end of the stick. We are now in a world where it is just corporates trying to rape us and shaft us at every chance they get, and we allow it.
Oh, it's the same thing. I mean, it's the same thing with everything. Hypocrites out there who are like, you need to save the environment, be more green, and then they get in their Hummer and take up 12 parking spaces. It's like, okay, so you can talk the talk, but not walk the walk, essentially. And that's just us as humans. That's how we are. I'm not saying that's how I am. I would never be like that, of course.
I'm so sick of these fucking season passes and confirmed buy.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Imagine you're a 12-year-old kid, and you and your buddy get this game for Christmas, and you're excited, and you're playing with each other, and then all of a sudden, he has a father, so he has money, and he gets, he buys some DLC or a season pass or whatever, that allows him to have additional content, and he has this cool armor, and I'm like, oh, I want that armor. Oh, what? It's $4? Oh, man. But what about, remember back in the day when, and I think Halo was a good example of this, where you, just worked hard in the game and you unlocked outfits? Why can't it be like that? Why can't you be like, how did you get that? Oh, well, I did this and this and this. Well, let's work together to get it because I want it. Instead of, you have to pay money for it? Bullshit. That's what I'm talking about. That's what frustrates me.
I agree with you, and I think it's bullshit. But this is how games work now. Back in the day, there used to be unlocks and cheat codes. Now there's just DLC.
And bugs.
You want to have that really cool armor that makes you glow in the dark? That'll be $10. Hey, you want the ability to jump really high and climb up a wall? That's not a cheat code. That's another $10 DLC. And that's just where we're at.
Well, I also don't like where it's like, well, you can do all this, or you can just buy it. It's like, okay, hey, look at this armor I got. Well, I can sit here and lie and say I did all the work for it, but you won't know. It just takes away the coolness of it. It kind of deteriorates how cool having customizable armor is, or unique armor in a game, because it's like, oh, well, all you did was pay $5 for it. It's not that special, as opposed to you killed 50 bad guys with headshots without taking any damage.
I don't think
or something
we're going
to
make it to the last topic at this rate, but I do just want to say one more thing with this, and if you guys have more, you can say. The main problem that we're having with our industry currently is that games are cheaper than they've ever been. And I know a lot of people, especially people who didn't buy games in the 80s and 90s, aren't going to understand that. But they are. They are $60 right now. There were games back in 90, 3, 4, 5, in 93, 4, 5 currency that were $100, $120, $80, $90. That equivalent is nearly $200 now.
Wait, really?
Probably.
Because back then, I remember games being $40, $50.
Yeah, there were some.
I remember paying $50 and $60. I don't remember paying that much.
There were some that were a lot were $50 and $60, but there were a lot more that got into the 90s, hundreds of dollars.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Well, that's the same thing here.
But even then, if you go back and say 50 or 60, then that is $80, $90, $100 now.
That is true. Plus, you didn't get the amount of content as you did, as you do today.
Even then, games were so much easier to produce back then. They were charging $60 for a game that took 10 people to make. Now we're charging $60 for games that take 200, 300 plus 5 years to make. And the problem is, and that's why everybody's raping people with DLC, is because games are just too cheap. They cost way too much now to produce, to not get that thing. So what I think we need to do is we need to reevaluate how much a game is in the beginning. Then let me spend a little bit more in the beginning, but then give me the fucking cheats. Give me the unlocks. Give me a game. Give me a map or two later, or a campaign mission later for free. But I think the problem is that we think, okay, games are $60, so everything else is being raped. And we think that because they usually do. But if they were to say, because when I talked to Steph about this a while ago, when they were talking about the new gen, I told Steph there's no way in hell that games don't go up to $70. They went from 50 with the PlayStation 2 and Xbox to 60 with the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. And I said there's no way in hell it doesn't go from 60 to 70 this year. And it didn't, because they're doing this now instead. Instead of giving that extra $10 up front, they're going to rape you with $30, $40 here, but only giving you $6 to $10 worth of content.
So, how is it that a PC game is $10 cheaper than
it's not anymore?
No.
It's not anymore?
No.
Okay.
And it used to be,
it
used to be because they didn't have to manufacture boxes or any sort of thing. They didn't have to go through a third-party retailer, even though Steam kind of is. But they didn't have to worry about any of that, so they could just give it for $10 cheaper. Yeah. But now they're 60, which is fucking stupid. But yeah, I again, to round up this amazing conversation, Season Passes isn't the problem, DLC isn't the problem. The price point is the problem.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Well, depending on your view.
If you're viewing it as the person who's right and not wrong, then yes.
Which is exactly why you go last, so that you can say that I'm right and that your opinions are all wrong.
Right. All right. The last topic, and this is going to have to be quick. Hopefully, this one's a longer topic, so we might have to cut it short. The last topic that I had was who has the better games lineup, Sony or Microsoft? Now, I went...
Microsoft, done.
Okay, good. Next topic. I went through and I got a big list and sent it to everybody of these games. I left out games that have already been released, which has actually kind of hindered Sony's list, because Sony's actually put out a lot of games recently that were really cool and everybody was really excited for. But this is just games that came out, as far as I'm aware, are out now, or haven't come out yet. And I by no means claim that this is every single list. I'm sure that each one of these is missing something. So if we left something out in the comments, please let us know. Or if we left something out in the comments, please let us know constructively and let us know what you guys think about it. But I have a list of Sony games here and Xbox One exclusives. And actually, didn't Rare Replay come out like in August? So I might actually...
maybe? I don't recall.
I'll ignore that because I think it actually did come out.
Okay.
So what my question was basically is who do you guys think have a better lineup? I'm going to read through here just for the audience's sake, just what I have written down. Again, I might be missing a game. Please forgive me if I do. Sony games, actually, didn't Everybody's Gone to the Okay, you know what? I'm going to leave these two in here. If they've already came out, just fucking tell me they came out and I'll fucking suck a dick or something. For PlayStation 4 exclusives, announced exclusives that I'm aware of, there is Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, which I really do. I think I saw a review for it like a couple days ago. I think it came out. Until Dawn, Horizon Zero Dawn, Uncharted 4, The Last Guardian, No Man's Sky, Destiny I have on here with a double asterisk because they get exclusive DLC. They get pretty decent exclusive DLC, so I put that on there, but with the asterisk. Call of Duty DLC is obviously exclusive, timed. Same with Destiny, but Destiny's is a lot longer window. The Final Fantasy remake is timed exclusive, and I also have it on here. Technically, you can play Final Fantasy VII, on other systems, but it is exclusive to the PlayStation 4, so I put that on there. Little Big Planet 3, Soma, the game that Jared talked about last podcast, is exclusive to that in PC. Oh, yeah, I should also say, there are going to be some PC games on here. This is just console exclusives, meaning that they're not on the other console. Ratchet & Clank reboot, Abzu, which I don't think I've ever heard of, and Deep Down. Again, I'm sure that I'm missing something here, and I'm sure that there are other first-party and third-party Sony studios that are still making games that haven't announced it yet, but this is just what they've announced that I've been able to find so far. And then as for Xbox One, we have Halo 5, Gears of War 4, Rare Replay, again, I think that's already out, Forza 6, Quantum Break, Crackdown, Scalebound, Halo Wars 2, which just got announced at... I almost said GDC, but Gamescom this year. Fables Legends, Rise of the Tomb Raider, timed exclusive, but I'm still counting it. Ori and the Blind Forest definitely already came out, so I don't know why I put that on there. Cuphead, Inside, Recore, Sea of Thieves, Below, Gigantic, and Phantom Dust. So when I look at these lists, Xbox currently has more on the list, but I think that Sony has released more. So when you really put them side by side, it's relatively close. I think that's what's going to be the difference here is which ones that we are more interested in, because there's several on both of these lists that I couldn't give a fuck about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Rise of the Tomb Raider will come out on PlayStation.
Exactly. That's why I said timed exclusive.
That's why you got the time.
Yeah. It really depends on what you're into, what you're, what series you like more. For PS4, I'm more excited about their new IPs, whereas for the Xbox One, I'm more excited for the established franchises. I'm excited from a distance for Gears of War 4. I'm really excited about Halo 5. Halo Wars 2, definitely. And there are a few, new IPs, Cuphead and Inside and Recore that I like too. But PS4, I see more IPs, new IPs that are more excited, so I don't know. I'm gonna say Xbox One because I don't know.
And it's interesting that you say that because Xbox One actually has more new IPs than PlayStation does.
Correct, but I'm more interested in the PS4's IPs than Xbox One. Like, there's a few in Xbox One that I like, but I think I'm more interested in No Man's Sky, Horizon, and...
Yeah. And PS is also pushing their PS Plus, or PS Pass, or whatever the fuck it's called.
PS Plus.
Yeah. I do like the Games for Gold, like the whole system going on for the Xbox One, in addition to the backwards compatibility. Like, the thing is that I'm probably more inclined to be more excited for Microsoft because recently they have been doing changes that are making themselves more appealing. But I'm sure that'll change once Sony responds to that, especially with the whole, what was it, PS Now or something like that, where you get to play or stream games from previous gen.
Well, that's been on there for a while.
I know, but it's paid, right?
Well, yeah.
In addition to paying the PSN, like I don't know how that works. So
right.
Unless you buy the season pass, then you get it.
There we go.
Well, I think we're forgetting, Wii U guys.
Again, you keep talking about this. What the fuck is a Wii U?
Hey, they're coming out with like Mario.
But what is it?
Takes a shit. I don't know what Mario games are coming out with actually.
What the fuck is the Wii U?
Huh? I don't know. I guess it's a sound you make when you're on a teeter-totter. I don't know what it is. No, I'm just kidding. Wii U!
Yeah, I guess I should probably preface that isn't on here.
Well, I like some of their games because they're games that I could play with my kids.
So,
but we're not talking about
Sony.
fucking kids in this podcast.
Nintendo are interesting. I actually have a topic written down that's literally just called Nintendo. And I feel like that'll probably be an entire podcast that we just talk about.
Well, I feel like we're talking about primetime and Nintendo's like Nick Jr.
The thing is Nintendo...
Jr. or something, it's like, it's a different league.
The thing is that Nintendo, this is going to be a really weird and bizarre analogy, so stick with me. Sony and Microsoft are like the really professional, restaurants that, you come in, you got your nice things, you got your cool things. There's a couple things that aren't so great, but they're really professional, tell you exactly what's in it. They call themselves a restaurant. And then Nintendo's kind of like, this ain't a restaurant, this is it's a
experience.
Food spot. And we got some things that you can only get in this part of this world, and everything else doesn't exist anywhere else. And we also give you little spoons that you can buy, and each spoon has a face on it, and if you put the spoon on the plate, you get a different experience. Like, Nintendo's just so fucking weird, but they make good dishes. Like, at the end of the day, their dishes are really good. They make very good food, they make very good games, but just the way they do everything is so fucking weird, and they're just so bizarre with how they handle it. Like, they're so hard trying to disassociate themselves from being games and from being in this race that I've just said, okay, you win. You're not in this race. I don't care anymore. I'm not going to talk about it.
It seems like they take what worked before and they try to recreate it in a different way and make it something new.
Let's try not to get
this
too
Mario Maker thing.
Let's try not to get too far onto Nintendo because I got to go in like 8 minutes here.
I just want to input one thing, though, that Nintendo has always thought itself as a toy company since the 80s. Since the, the whole video game crash back then. Nintendo has always marketed itself as a toy company. They
always existed within the races. It was always Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft.
Correct. And I think at some point, Nintendo's like,
stop.
I think I think it's one of those things where Nintendo kind of accidentally restarted the video game industry and they kind of labeled themselves as video games. Yeah. But at heart, they still thought themselves as toys.
If it wasn't for Nintendo, we wouldn't be playing video games.
Right.
Or they wouldn't be what they were, or what they are.
I think this whole thing of, like, Nintendo being a video game company was more of an accident. And it's something that Nintendo's, like, trying to convince people,
and
like, especially since Sony and Microsoft became professional. That Nintendo's like, hey, we still have toys.
I just was saying,
this will be something that we talk about on the Nintendo topic next time. I'm sorry. I tried to stop. I don't want to interrupt people, but we really got to finish this fucking topic before I get a fucking bullet in my head. So, Steph kind of talked about hers. She said that, what was your official verdict?
For what?
For the exclusives. the actual topic we're on.
Oh, okay. Xbox, Microsoft.
Better lineup for Steph. Jared, what's your pick, and you can explain why.
Microsoft, hands down.
Any reason to explain why, or is it just fucking
because a lot of the games that are coming out for the PS4, I have no idea what they are, and I have no interest in them. There's a few like Uncharted 4 and the exclusives that everybody's gonna probably love, but that's it.
Yeah, for me as well, I also agree. Microsoft has gone fucking crazy this past year, and they are really trying to turn this thing around. And at first I was kind of like, oh, look, Microsoft's a little fish flapping on the deck. He wants to get back in the water, but he's just so pathetic. He's not gonna do it. Now motherfucker's going in the water and taking other fish with him. Like, they are doing a really fucking good job. Like, they're blowing my mind with how much. Like, I couldn't believe when I went to make this list of how many exclusives Microsoft has. That's crazy. That's a lot of exclusives. Sony's always been known for having a lot. But, like, Microsoft's starting to fill that gap and even have more. They have more exclusive and more original IP than Sony. And even though some of that I don't care about, that's still fucking crazy. That is a huge win for Microsoft. Yeah. So it's actually interesting. Once this kind of holiday season hit and Sony has basically nothing, and then Gamescom happened and Sony didn't even show up and Microsoft fucking killed it, Sony really has their work cut out for them next year to make up that ground, because Microsoft is eating their fucking ankles. They're not nipping at their heels. They are eating their fucking ankles at this point. And Sony's really got to figure out how to change that. So, yeah, for me, there's some really cool ones. I was always interested in Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. Like I said, I think that came out. I haven't looked into it. Until Dawn looks super fucking cool. Love horror games like that. Horizon, great. Uncharted, great. The Last Guardian, going to be a topic probably next time, because I'm curious what you guys think. I don't know about. No Man's Sky is cool. Destiny DLC is cool. Couldn't give a fuck about Call of Duty. Final Fantasy VII, I don't really care. Little Big Planet, don't care at all. Soma looks interesting. Haven't looked into it. Ratchet & Clank reboot, maybe. Don't know what Abzu is. Don't know what Deep Down is. Xbox One exclusives. Halo 5, awesome. Gears of War 4, I have no fucking clue. Rare Replay, awesome. Forza, if you like racing games, go for it. I'm not a fan. Quantum Break, looks cool as shit. Crackdown, just waiting and seeing. Scalebound, saw some stuff about it. I don't know what I think about that game. Halo Wars, yes! Fable Legends, I couldn't give a fuck about. Rise of Tomb Raider, super fucking cool. Ori is already, we knocked that off. Cuphead, looks really cool, gotta play it. Inside, love the developer, gonna be cool. Recore, haven't seen shit about it, sounds cool. Sea of Thieves, I don't know what even that game is. Below, Gigantic, and Phantom Dust, I don't know anything about. But there's a lot on Microsoft that I really like, and there's a lot in PlayStation that I really like. But I think, as it currently stands, I'm going to have to go with Xbox as well. Like, Microsoft is really starting to kick it up to 11, and that's awesome.
Doesn't matter. I'm going to spend most of my time playing Fallout 4.
Right. Well, this isn't even talking about PC, because that's why these are exclusives, because anything that's, like, on all platforms, I usually get on PC.
But didn't Microsoft say something about that they're going to allow you to mod like Fallout and stuff like that on the Xbox?
Well, what it'll be is, they'll have
another topic.
Well, no, this can be quick. They'll have mod support on Fallout, and what it's basically be is the PC players make the mods, and then if the mods get reviewed and then like approved, then they'll also be available on the 360 or the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 too. They are doing this for a fact on Xbox One, but it's gonna end up on PlayStation 4 too as well. I guarantee it. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was it. I'm sorry that this last one was cut a little short here, and that the podcast was cut a little short. You probably only end up here with probably about
I feel rushed.
An hour. Man, I feel rushed too. This one's my fault. The last short one wasn't my fault, so I'm not gonna take blame for that one. I fucked up today. My birthday is around the corner, and my grandparents wanted to have dinner, and my brother wanted to have dinner, but the only day that they could have available was today. And I'm like, sure, I don't do anything on Thursday, except for that fucking podcast I've done every week for a month and a half. So I fucked up. Many apologies. Next week, hopefully we'll be better. We'll be back to a little bit longer format. Still won't have Alex, though, which is great, am I right? And I think that's it. Anybody else have anything else they want to say?
No.
Nope.
So about Nintendo... No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, I'm biting my tongue. So, all for you, man.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Please leave comments in the below about what you thought, what do you think, what your opinions are, what your response would be. Did we leave anything out? Is there something you wanted to say? Is there something we didn't touch on? Let us all know that down in the comment section below. I love you sometimes with my penis.
Oh.
Grunting Pixel out.